Can I give you one of these?
What's that?
It's an Andrew Yang sticker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you guys like podcasting over there?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Well, we haven't decided what to do with this. I want to train people how to strike up conversations about Yang. Yeah, because I'm from California. There's a bunch of volunteers in town from all over the country this week.
Does he also wear
all
that
self-funded. Yeah, he does. He also wears a pin, like a math pin.
Okay, that's funny.
Do you know what it means? It's an acronym.
Oh, I assumed it was short for mathematics.
Well, yeah. Well, that too. That too. He's a tech entrepreneur. So,
Yeah.
And he's bringing they're calling the campaign like a revolution of reason.
Yeah.
And his hat means make America think harder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's like, you got to think harder because Trump is saying that GDP is looking great, stock market's looking great, and it's true. The economy is producing at record, output. But if you look deeper, think harder, you'll see that we also have sky-high depression rates, suicide rates, so high that drug overdoses are so high that life expectancy has dropped for the past 3 years. Last time that happened was during the Spanish flu of 19 something. So as we're producing more, you look deeper. How are we producing more? And he wrote 2 books about how technology transforms society, and we're growing the economy by automating, which is a great thing, except that the gains we're making from automation is getting stuck at the top into the hands of the big corporations while we shrink our middle class. We're about to lose 30 to 40 million jobs in the next 10 to 15 years. And Yang brought that conversation to the field. So a lot of the other candidates are also now talking about automation and what that's doing. Yeah. Economists are calling this the 4th industrial revolution that we're actually in the middle of already. And Yang saw in the data that Trump got elected because we lost 4 million manufacturing jobs here in Iowa and a lot of the Midwestern states. So, and he went on to study, what happens to people when they suddenly lose their livelihoods and put under economic distress. Literally, people's IQs drop by 13 points, functional IQ, because they can't focus on anything else but their next meal or their next month's rent. They also become more susceptible to tribalistic rhetoric.
Right.
So when Trump came along and started blaming the immigrants, that's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. Something's wrong, and you look around. Okay, immigrants, but really it's really wall-to-wall robots at every factory. Automation is transforming how we produce things, how we do things, and it can be a really good thing provided that we make every American a beneficiary of the overall economy. Which is why he's proposing a universal basic income, and he's calling it the freedom dividend, to make every citizen a shareholder instead of like a cog in the machine.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for. I know I'm interrupting you guys. Is this interesting to you guys? I don't want to be. Okay.
We keep trying to think harder about our work, but we let ourselves get distracted too. So.
Yeah. What are you guys working on?
We're all PhD students at Iowa State.
Okay.
Except he is actually he's a postdoc now. Sorry.
Okay.
He actually has his doctorate. He's better.
Cool.
I'm not better.
Just further along
Just
on the path.
further along.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's kind of like what it feels like I'm doing is like kind of life coaching people to open up to the possibility. Because this guy, I came from the tech background. I used to work for Amazon Robotics. And then I quit that like about 5 years ago, and I went to like the healing arts. So now I'm a life coach and a communications coach. So I really see, like, when I tell people about the universal basic income, the paradigm shift is really from one of scarcity to abundance mentality. Because people ask me, like, the most common objection is like, what will motivate people to work if they're getting free money? Right? Or does anything come up for you guys when you hear like, okay, he plans to give every American $1,000 every single month, no strings attached?
Where does that money come from? I guess it's a common question, right?
Yep, that's one question. And so right now, our economy, again, is growing by automating, right? So what he wants to tap is a tax scheme that allows us to tap a tiny piece of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad. And the best mechanism to do that is a value-added tax. So that's going to fund half of the bill. And then he has it laid out on his website and in his book, how the rest of it will. It'll also grow the economy, because if you think every person getting $1,000 guaranteed, location independent, employment independent, it'll really revitalize rural communities, because then people don't have a lot of urbanization that happens now is because that's the only place where work is. So if you have guaranteed income, regardless of where you are, it'll really spur, put buying power into local community hands. And people will more likely to start businesses where they're at because they know that their fellow Americans have money to spend on local goods. So there's a lot of like positive, immeasurable externalities that when you really think about that, might start to come up. So economic growth is another piece of the pie, and added tax revenues from economic growth. But he lays it out because he's a math and numbers guy. So he lays it out in a lot of detail on his website. But the biggest change is the value-added tax, which most European nations already have for like the past 20, 30 years. Yeah, but that's like one very common question. Yeah. I also made these flyers that are $1,000. On the back, there's QR codes. If you scan any of these codes, it'll go to a YouTube video. And yeah, it'll show you a lot more. Like this guy, every one of his talks feels like a TED talk. And he also interviews with very conservative pundits like Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you're familiar with those people. But because he's bringing so much reason, and he's actually acknowledging that Trump got certain things right in the sense that he felt the plight of the rural communities. Now, he didn't provide any real solutions, but at least people felt like he heard what their problems were. Right. So Yang's coming along. Not only does he see the problems, he has actual solutions. Right. So that's why he's already peeling away 10% of former Trump voters. There's a poll, and that was a poll from like 3 months ago. So right now, his name recognition is growing. And anybody that I managed to get to read Yang's book becomes like an avid Yang gang. So I just try to funnel people to watch his long-form interviews because that really gives you an idea. And then once people watch, usually I found out about him through Joe Rogan.
I saw that interview actually.
Okay, cool. Yeah. What did you think of it?
It's good.
Yeah. All right.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.